Okay, so I just had this come in to replace the Gigabyte SoC board. It was on sale, $90 versus $130, I think. 2 data cables, SLI bridge, I/O shield, disk, and manual. The board looks pretty similar, just without the orange accents of the SoC board. And instead of 4 video card slots or PCI Express 16X slots, this only has 2. And here it is. It's got a 1X slot up here, and that's actually pretty good because that means it gives more room for like a memory fan or something up here. I might actually be able to use that fan now. Two front USBs. No, 3 front USBs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fans. I'm going to need a fan splitter or 2 to get this up and going. And I was pretty sure this had a, yes, 10 gigabyte per second SATA Express M2 slot. So hook up a really fast SSD there. What I was going to say though was, I was pretty sure this had, like onboard power switches so that you could turn the board on even though the case thing wouldn't be plugged in. But I guess not. Front USB 3, I don't know if that's going to be the best spot for it because before I had it down here. But I guess that's a good enough overview of the system. Let's just take a look at the rear I/O, and we'll be good to go. You have 2 USB 2, PS2 port, VGA, DVI, not DVI-D, or DVI-A analog, HDMI, 4 USB 3s, Gigabyte Internet, and then full surround sound there. Oh, the board is actually very flexible. I was not expecting that. Just doing a tiny bit of force. I hope that doesn't make it last like less, not as long. But yep. So it can support Crossfire and SLI. That's good to know. I have a Crossfire bridge somewhere, but I have no idea where it is. Well, let's hook up the system and see if it can do its stock speeds, because remember before it wouldn't. So I guess I'll cut to that. Okay, this here's the Ultra Super Temporary Setup version -3. To test the SLI, we have 2 EVGA NVIDIA GPUs. We have an Intel Pentium G3320. That's a Haswell chip, so it should be pretty good to go. And we're using the legacy side so that nothing goes wrong. The legacy side has a PS2 port and 2 USB 2.0 ports. And the flash drive has a new BIOS on it, so we will flash the BIOS, and we should be good to go after that. I have a monitor up here that we can stare at. So let's flip the switch and power up. Those GPUs that actually do put out a lot of air. Cannot display this video mode. CPU status 3 GHz. Hooray! And I'm using 1333 MHz RAM to make sure absolutely nothing goes wrong. You can do a base clock thing. Turbo core ratio. What? It doesn't have turbo. You guys are idiots. There we go. Kind of hard to update the BIOS to just a keyboard nowadays, with all the UEFI stuff. I shall cut ahead to when it's fully updated. Okay, it has just rebooted itself, and I'm now waiting for it to come back up. Still doing the same thing, probably because of the new BIOS. I have to wait 15 seconds for it to stop. I don't know why it's doing the turbo ratio even though the CPU has no turbo support. But it's showing 3 GHz. So, yay. Finally. I shall put this into the system, and hopefully it won't die like the SoC board did. See you in a minute. Okay, new board is in place. I don't have everything plugged up yet. I need to do a few rerouting things, especially the USB 3 thing being up here now. And I need to plug in the CPU power that's way up there. And here is the Core i7 4790K. You are never going to see that. Oh, there you go. Now you can. 4790K, 4 GHz. I need to get a few fan splitters here and there so that I can have enough connections for all the fans, because 1 push-pull, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fans. Maybe 4 there, 1 there, yeah, 7 fans. And this board, as I said before, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 2 fan splitters. Oh yeah, I actually need 1 more because the pump needs a 3-pin USB connector. Not USB, 3-pin fan connector. But yep, gonna hook it all up and power up. Let you know when I'm done. Okay, I have the system here up and running. All fans are good to go. When I first booted it up and went into BIOS, it was running at 60 degrees Celsius, which is about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was wondering why. And And while I'm still not entirely sure, the fan connection and the block connection had to be swapped. Either that connection there doesn't have enough power, or it wasn't plugged in the right way. But either way, seems like everything is finally working. 4.4 gigahertz. It's installing some of the drivers. It's not ready to use. Only thing it needs is the Ethernet controller. Close. I shall reboot now. There we go. This Windows is also acting extremely slowly. I don't know why. I will go into the BIOS for just a short bit. Not to overclock or anything. Just to make sure everything's running at tip-top speed. I think the reason why the driver is moving so slowly is because I don't know if that's a SATA 3 port, even though it says right there. I think the SATA 3 ports are actually up there next to the USB 3 connection there. It's now rebooting. Memory is at 2666, 1.65 volts, voltage. Yep, auto, why is that like that? Normal, should it be normal or should it be auto? Yeah, auto, because then it can adjust itself, I guess, maybe. Well, memory voltage can go all the way up to 2.1. Was not expecting that. Oh my god. Wow, 1.65, it's not there. Yep, Corsair Vengeance. Yeah, it only goes, unless it has more scrolling down. Nope. Auto again, I guess. Not wanting to destroy the CPU after what happened before. Yep, 34 degrees Celsius, 4.4 gigahertz still. Memory status, running at 1.67 volts, not entirely sure why. But it is running at full speed. Both timings are correct. Frequency, K overclock, K series overclock, I believe that's what it is. I don't want to, oh yeah, enable, for, enable, and then leave all those at auto. Because this doesn't have both CPU connections, it won't be able to handle as high of an overclock. Leave all those as auto, auto. Save and exit. And now we're going to see if it takes as long to boot up as it did to shut down. Hopefully no, but you never know. It really shouldn't, because 4.4 gigahertz. It's running at full speed and being cooled properly now. Probably should have been in by now, so it's still going slow. Which might tell us something a little bit more about the whole computer in general, I guess. I'm going to check that 24-pin cable to make sure it was all the way in. Because if it's not all the way in, then it's only getting 20-pin power. Which it'll run like that, but it won't run optimally. I wonder if I can have another fan connected to there. No, probably not. Why? Because logic. And the pump thing would get in the way. Still booting up. I need to defrag the hard drive and clean it. And find out why it's running slow. And probably throw in the SSD. With the money I can get with this computer, I probably should just throw in the SSD and call it a day. I have a complete backup of my system on this Western Digital hard drive. I would include it, but it's too loud and doesn't sound too healthy. So it's only used as a desperate backup thing. I should have another means of backing things up. Still booting up. There we go. Both fans running on a GPU. Being cooled as good as it can be. Actually, probably not. I need to dust it out because the case it was in before was not completely dust-proof. How can I tell? I blew into it and dust came out. I guess that's the best answer you can get. This fan's giving the GPU direct cooling, which should actually really help in that thermal department. Case fan is open to give air both to the GPU, and I suppose I actually should have some kind of front drive fan up in there because of how little air is actually coming up here. Because like this is all one channel, and then this is one channel that's getting almost no air. The side panel has no venting, so it's not going to get any extra holes. And the C says at risk. I'm not entirely sure why. Sounds like someone's home. I'm just going to let this go because I think as I saw before, it didn't want to go away. So I'll just let it load itself up. There we go. Three 2.5, 2.9, 4.4 gigahertz. There we go, that's closed. 4 cores, 8 threads. Well, this thing finally up and running, well, the processor at full speed. I should be able to finally post some Intel burn test numbers for that one guy who asked like 2 weeks ago. So, sorry to keep you waiting, but that was why. It was being a pain. So, yep. Thanks, Game Boy out. See you next time. This unit is now for sale. Ask me on pricing if you're interested.